Call 219 here. I want to talk about this law. Now, I'm not a big fan of laws. I really am not. I think most gun laws are an infringement on the rights of law-abiding citizens, but I digress. But this law that we have here in my great state of Indiana, which a lot of people don't put us on the list unless, we're off the list, and technically they just talk about us. But here in the state of Indiana, 18-year-olds are allowed to carry a firearm. The bad thing about that is they're not allowed to purchase a firearm, a handgun to carry. They're allowed to carry a handgun, but they're not allowed to buy the handgun or the ammunition. So that's like a double-edged sword. I've never understood this. Where these people are being able to give their hard-earned bucks, because we all know when we were 18, I know I was working my butt off, so, and for little money at that. So you're going to give these people the opportunity to carry a handgun and give up a good chunk of change. Fortunately, some of the people have seen their ways here downstate there in Indianapolis and gave 5-year permits a pass for a fee. So you don't have to pay for a 5-year permit. It's free. You just pay for your fingerprinting, and then your local municipality, whoever is the police department in your area, that's it. And it's good to go. And then your lifetime permit on top of that is only $160, if that. So that's pretty good, because you don't have to do the training stuff as other people, other states require. And so to get back on it, why are you going to deny these kids the rights to buy a firearm and the ammunition for said firearm, but let them carry a gun? I've never understood this. I've written this to a lot of representatives and senators, especially some like Jim Lucas in my state. And unfortunately, at that point, Pete Visklowski, which thank God he's retiring after this year, because he wasn't really general. He was telling, they got to be 21 to do anything. And it's like, but look at the perspective in this, Pete. You send these kids to war. You send them to war when they're 18, 19, 20 years old, even 17 in some cases. But yet, when they come home to the place that they're defending, the republic that they're defending, and all our values, you deny them the right to buy a firearm. Now, other kids take a different course in life, whether it's college, trade school, a technical school, something that runs around that line. And some people have said, well, we'll let those kids that were in the military purchase a handgun, or maybe the ammunition for said handgun. I said, well, that's not fair to the other kids that are living here stateside that have to deal with scumbags almost every day, just like the people in the military deal with scumbags almost every day. So what's the difference? Because these people took a step further to defend the country, but these people have to sit back and be run over by criminal element in the country that they defend, that these people defend. So it never made sense to me. And I've constantly tried to contact people. And unfortunately, during the Rona days, you can't really have a face-to-face meeting. You can't really just drive downstate a couple of hours and start talking to people, because people freak out. You got to wear these masks or some kind of headgear. Nowadays, they're giving you some goo to shoot in your arm. So, I mean, it's really hard to get a hold of these people and really explain to them that it's got to be one way or the other. And a lot of people will be like, oh, don't say that. But it really does, because I know there's a lot of kids that are out there that are responsible enough to carry a firearm at the age of 18. And some people will say, well, that's kind of dangerous. Well, what's dangerous is letting these 18-year-olds vote. And even states have even wanted to drop the voting age. And look how much damage that has done. Look who you have out there spitting the game of gun control and talking about avid repercussions of what kind of lax gun laws that there are to really strengthen and really grip the nation in the distribution and the selling of firearms. Look what you got there. So what's more dangerous? They always say the pen is mightier than the sword. And I truly believe that. But getting back on topic, I believe my kids are, there's a couple of them that are 18 years old, but they're more mature enough to carry a firearm, to protect themselves. And I think that really dawns on the parent, and to tell you the truth, I really don't want to give them one of my guns. I don't, because I like my guns. You know what I'm saying? I want to carry these guns. So why not give them the ability to, first of all, work and earn a living, and then have that experience of buying their first firearm with their own money, and understanding if they're going to do that to get their permit to carry a firearm, they should have that ability to buy the firearm they're willing to carry. It makes no sense to me. This is another gray area law that I've never been really accepted of, because you're giving them a right to do one thing, but you're denying their right to do another thing. And I think that's a double standard all the way, and it should be reversed. And I look at it, it should be reversed to the way where these 18-year-olds can buy a handgun and ammunition for that handgun. I mean, how many people do you know that their kids can go out hunting by themselves when they're 18 years old? Even younger than 18-year-olds. And they're going hunting by themselves. So it just behooves me to see them have the ability to buy a long gun by themselves, but not be able to buy a handgun by themselves. But yet people are giving them the process to carry a handgun when they can't buy one, or the ammunition. And a lot of people we can quarrel on this back and forth, but it's something that's always stuck in my craw that I really just don't like. I don't like it. I think they should have the ability to do it. And I think the 18-year-olds that defend the country should have the ability to do it. There's no more thumb in the eye, I think, than when they let you go to fight for a country that the majority of us love, to come back home and not be able to buy a firearm. And some people say, well, these military people are trained. Let me tell you about something. I've seen some people in the military that I wondered why they're even in the military. So, without getting off topic, I just don't agree with this law. I don't agree with it. I think it creates a double standard. It puts parents in the position of having to fill out paperwork where these kids are more willing to fill out paperwork. If they're willing to fill out a ballot that really will, shape and mold not even society, but the country itself, they should be able to fill out a 4473. That's my take on it. That's how I look at it. I think you should let them do it. I think you should let them experience that feeling that we all did when we were able to buy our first handgun, and walk into that nuance of gun ownership. A lot of these people around YouTube will act like they've been shooting since they came out of the womb, and it's not like that. Go back to your experience when you were able to buy your first firearm yourself, where no one gave you anything, where you actually worked up enough time to, collect some overdue funds and go out and purchase your first firearm yourself. I mean, it's really a cool experience. It's really, a kind of shaky experience when you're filling out some weird, goofy ass form to do it, but yet it gives them a sense of responsibility. And I think if you're going to let these people vote, you should let them own firearms. And it's that simple. And if you're not going to let them own firearms at 18, and especially buy handguns, not so much firearms, but handguns, then you shouldn't let them vote. You shouldn't let them do those sorts of things. until they're 21. You can't have this both ways. And I think a lot of anti-gunners will disagree with me. I think some people on the other side of the fence will disagree with me. But I look at it this. If they're old enough to fill out a ballot and mold and shape America, then they're old enough to buy a firearm. They're old enough to buy the ammunition for the firearm. So many guns are made nowadays, which are in a long gun configuration that take pistol caliber cartridges. So how does that make sense when you're going to deny them? They'll go out and they'll buy that long gun that shoots 9mm, 40, 45, things like that, but you're going to deny them to buy the ammunition for that firearm. It makes no sense to me. So I think that law should be changed, and I call on all my representatives and my senators to change that law, to let the 18-year-olds, as long as they do the bullshit background check, as long as they pass the background check, to carry a firearm. And I think that would be a great experience for them. I think it would release a lot of pressure from the parents and really get them more involved in training, in gun safety, and things of that nature that are sprinkled on top of owning firearms. I think that would do a due diligence. I see the country move so far away of deeming guns a bad thing, but not looking at the aspects of training and showing responsibility for these tools. So that's my thoughts on that. It's always been in my head and always turning, especially when 18-year-olds come to the counter and they just look at long guns and they say, I have a 22, I have a shotgun, I have a 243, I have a 308. Really like to buy a handgun. And to throw something else on top of there, even our legislation states that people that hunt can carry a handgun. Even the 18-year-olds. So you're going to let these people be able to buy a conceal and carry permit and carry a handgun while hunting, but they can't buy the handgun or the ammunition to go with it to do either or. It makes no sense to me. I wish they'd reverse that law in my home state and really put the screws to the anti-gunners and really put the screws to parents that own firearms, that shoot, to really go into that training phase and that responsibility of having firearms. So I just wanted to get that off my chest and throw it out there. Leave a comment below whether you agree or disagree. Kind of be cordial in there because YouTube's that way. And I like to thank my old and my new subscribers and just the people that skip through. I greatly appreciate it. Like, comment, subscribe, share your favorite gun content because they take those things away as well. Like always, we'll catch you on the next one.